morning, or good afternoon, depending on where you are tuning in from today. My name is Tanya McNeal-Weary, and I am the founder and managing director at IBS Global Consulting. I want to first take this opportunity to thank the International Trade Council for putting on this amazing event for us. I also want to thank all of you for tuning in with me for my presentation today. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen with you here. Hopefully this works and you see my screen in just a moment. Okay, so today we're going to talk about going global, how to succeed in international markets. But first, I just want to give you a brief introduction of myself. Again, my name is Tanya McNiel-Weary. I've been working as an international business consultant for about 12 years. And I've worked with both small and medium-sized companies around the world. And I've worked in various different industry sectors as well. So worked with various companies from all different industries all around the world. IBS Global Consulting was founded in 2009, and we specialize in working with primarily small and medium-sized companies who are looking to expand their businesses into new markets. I'm also the founder of Think Global Training Academy, which is an online knowledge hub for entrepreneurs and small business owners looking to gain in-depth knowledge of the international business environment and how to take their business globally. I currently serve as the president of the Northern USA India Business Council of the Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And I'm also excited to share that I just recently published my first book. It's titled Women Going Global, and it shares real life stories of women from 13 different countries who have overcome extreme odds and who are successfully doing business around the world. So I'm excited about that. So now to today's presentation, going global and how to succeed in international markets. Well, international business success depends on a number of factors, but today I will share with you 6 keys to going global and how to succeed in international markets. So first, we're going to talk about defining your why and why that's important. We're going to talk about the importance of market research and how to develop a strategy for going global, how to identify local partners. We're going to talk about testing your strategy, and then why it's important that you remain flexible throughout this entire process. So first, we're going to start with your why. Why do you want to go global? What are your objectives? What are your company's objectives for expanding internationally? That is the first question you want to ask yourself. That's the first key to international business success, is knowing why and having an understanding of what your company's goals are when it comes to international expansion. Knowing your why will help you build a strong foundation. So you want to start with these questions. What is it that your company is looking to do? Are you looking to develop a new customer base? Are you looking to increase your revenue potential? Maybe you want to establish your company as a trusted source of goods and services on a global scale. Maybe your local market has become saturated, you're looking to gain a competitive edge by expanding into new markets, or you're just looking to improve your company's reputation. Maybe you want to protect against the risk of decline in your domestic market. A lot of companies expand into new markets to help reduce the dependency on their local market. So these are just some of the reasons that companies decide to go global. So you want to take a look at your why and what's your company's reason for going global. Again, it will help you to build a strong foundation moving forward. You also want to create both both short-term and long-term goals, and you want to set clear expectations. So defining your why will help you to do all of that. It will help you to set those clear goals and expectations, knowing the reason that your company want to expand internationally and what you're looking to get from that expansion. So whatever the reason, you want to clearly define your company's objectives for international expansion. So to succeed in doing business internationally, it's important to gain in-depth understanding of the market. So now we're talking about research, market research. This is so key for companies looking to expand internationally. You want to make sure that you understand the market. You want to understand the countries that you intend to do business. So first you want to decide which country to target. Where are you going to expand? What countries make the most sense for your business? You also want to define your target customers, and you want to know who your competitors are. Know your competition and know where your product or service fit in that particular market. So these are going to be some important things to consider as you're looking to markets, to expand your business, knowing what's the best market entry strategy. So how are you going to get your product or service into the market? So we're going to talk about that a little bit later as we talk about the developing your strategy. You also want to evaluate potential barriers to entry as you're doing your market research and you're looking at potential markets to expand your business. What are some potential barriers that may impact your international business expansion? And again, we're going to talk about that a little bit more as well. And it's important for you to understand the regulatory environment. What are the requirements? What are the laws and regulations that you would have to adhere to? Are there any compliance issues? Are there any licenses that you would need to acquire in order to do business? All of these things you should identify during the market research process. It's going to be really important. But I think, in my opinion, maybe one of the most important decisions that you'll have to make is deciding which market or markets that to target, right? So what are the countries? What are the best countries to target? I think that is going to be really key. And let me move this here so you can see. You can see my screen here. I think that's going to be one of the most important decisions that you'll have to make. What are the best countries to target? So when you're assessing which markets to target and choosing a country, you want to look at where is there a demand for what you're selling. Right? That is so key. You don't want to expand to a market only to find out that there is no demand for what you have, or maybe the market is already oversaturated with other competitors selling the same product or service. So looking at the competition, what does that competitive environment looks like? Is there a market demand? What's the competition? Also, when choosing a market, you want to look at proximity. What's the proximity to other key markets? I know for a lot of US companies, or vice versa, Canadian companies, they look to the US market. If you're on the Canadian side, if you're US, you're looking to Canada because of the close proximity. So looking at other markets, key markets that you will have access to. Also, looking at the language, what language barriers exist? Again, using the US and Canada as an example, the language is the same, pretty much the same, and the cultural aspects is pretty much the same. Currency, you want to take a look at that and how that's going to impact your business if you're operating in a foreign currency, and what that impact can be on your bottom line. You also want to take a look at the various trade barriers and what that looks like and how that can impact your business and your overall expansion plan. Some trade barriers can be, again, it can be regulations, it can be tariffs, it can be, taxes. What are the tax implications of setting up a business? What's the ease of doing business? How long is it going to take? What's the investment time and the cost? Maybe it'll take too long to set up because of the regulatory environment. So these are the things you want to look at as you are selecting markets that makes the most sense for your business. If you're considering multiple countries, you want to do a thorough analysis of each country that you are considering. So that is so key because each country is so different that you have to do that research. You got to do that process for each one. So choosing a country and some factors to consider, again, the proximity to other key markets, the trade barriers, ease of doing business, laws and regulations. You also want to look at security and safety issues, the political stability. There's just so much to consider when choosing a country. And that's why this would probably be one of the biggest decisions that you'll have to make. And that again goes along with your research part of what you'll be doing during the research process. Okay. So now we're going to talk about how to develop a strategy. So now that you've conducted all of your market research, you've looked into the various countries that you're considering expanding to, you've done your thorough analysis of each of those countries. Now, how are you going to enter the market? What's the strategy for getting your product from point A to point B? So what does that look like? So you want to look at the market entry, the modes of entry, and what mode of entry would be best suited for your company. And in your research, you would have identified some regulatory issues that maybe comes with hiring or partnering with a local distributor or setting up a joint venture. So that's those are the things you want to consider as you're developing your strategy. How are we going to enter the market? Are we going to form a joint venture? Are we going to set up a local office? We're going to hire local employees to run that local office. How are we going to enter into the market? Are we going to partner with a local distributor? So those are some of the things you look at. You look at the channel strategy again, a direct sale. Are we going to sell direct to the consumer in the country? Are we going to sell through a retailer or a wholesaler, maybe through a sales agent? So looking at the different channels available and the access to those channels in the countries that you are considering. And then you want to look at your brand positioning. Again, back to your competitors. What are they doing, and how are you doing it different or better? And how are you going to position your brand in that market? How are you going to stand out amongst your competitors is what you want to look at when you talk about brand positioning. Also, the operational model. This is really important because you cannot take the same business model or operational model that you're using in your local market and you take that to the new country that you're doing business. No, you cannot do that. You have to develop a market according to that environment that you're going to be working, which is going to be much different from your local environment and how you currently do business. Again, each country is different and each country has its own ways of doing business. And so you cannot take your set model into a new market and expect that it's going to work. So you want to take a look at that as well. Also, the allocation of resources. So especially if you're a small company, you may already be limited on resources. So how will those resources be allocated now that you're setting up in a new market? So those are some things you want to also think about as you are developing your strategy. Going global also may require it may require additional management support, sales support. How are you going to allocate the resources that you have, and how can you leverage any additional resources that may be needed? And also developing a roadmap and action plan, which is really, really, really key here. So what is going to be your action plan? And write down those action items and prioritize those items as well. Identifying local partners who will help you in implementing your plan. Now that you have your roadmap, you have your plan ready to go, who are you going to have help implement that plan? And it's important to find a business partner that complements you, someone with the skills, knowledge, and connections that will help your business thrive in that new market. So why is it important to have a local partner on the ground? Because that person will understand that business environment. They understand all the nuances and how to get around, certain things, and they understand the regulations. So they can help you really avoid some costly mistakes if you hire people locally or contract people locally on the ground. So whether it's a marketing support, if you're going to be dealing with contracts, you definitely want to make sure you hire a local attorney in country that understand the laws as you're working with various distributors or potential joint venture partners, and you're dealing with contracts and all of these things. You want to make sure you have someone locally on the ground who understand contract laws in that country. They understand the regulatory environment and what requirements may need to be met for you to do business in the country. So really important to identify local partners that can help in implementing your plan. Again, can save you a lot of time and a lot of money, and you can avoid a lot of costly mistakes by having people on the ground. Also, it's important as you're looking at which channel strategy that you'll be using, and you're looking at maybe partnering with a local distributor or a local sales agent. It's important that you do your thorough investigation and background check and make sure that you're partnering with a person or company that share the same values as your company, and they have the same goals as you as well. So you want to make sure that you partner with the right business partner, and that partner can help you speed the entry to market actually, and get you into market a lot faster than maybe you would have if you were on your own or didn't have a local partner. So now you want to test your strategy. And this is really key and important. So once you develop your strategy, you've done all your research, you've identified your local partners, now you're global, now you're doing business globally. What's working and what's not working? Are you meeting the stated objectives as identified in the beginning, as we talked about knowing your why and what's your reason for going global? What are your company's objectives? So knowing that and having that written down, you can go back and take a look and say, are we meeting these objectives? Maybe you've identified additional resources or opportunities that could be leveraged. So you want to test the strategy, see what's working, see what's not working, see what adjustments may need to be made. So that's going to be really key as we talk about our next, the final phase of that. Be flexible. Part of being successful is having the ability to adapt, and know that we're in an ever-changing business world, especially when you're looking at doing business internationally. It's ever-changing. So don't get stuck in this is going to be the way, because that way may need to be changed not once, twice, maybe 3 or 4 times as you're going along your journey to international expansion. So I have here one of the famous quotes: the key to success is often the ability to adapt. So that is going to be very key and very important as you are expanding your business. Being flexible, having the willingness to adapt to new environments, new changes, which is going to occur on a regular basis. And so just keep that in mind as you're looking to expand your business internationally. So we want to end with that. I want to thank you once again for tuning in with me for this brief presentation. I hope some of the tips and the ideas shared here would be helpful to you as you are deciding to move your business into new markets all around the world. And we're going to leave with our business model here, and that's Think Global. Thank you once again, and you have an amazing day and enjoy the rest of the conference.